What's up, YouTube? Welcome to ExceedTheHype.com. It's your boy Lucrecio coming at you with another video. And this is our first live broadcast coming at you directly from the epicenter. Alright, so today's video is entitled, How Have the Clippers Regressed? And in my opinion, it looks like the Clippers have regressed with the Chris Paul leaving. There is some talk about that they've possibly have gotten better. If you ask me, though, I think they have faded from relevancy a little bit, and these are some reasons why. I do think they can make a move or two and could possibly recover, but ultimately, if they don't make some moves, it looks like they will be dropping lower in the playoff seeding and possibly out the playoffs. But I doubt out the playoffs, but more likely lower in the playoff seeding. All right, so let's talk about what they have, the positives of the Clippers. Right, as of right now, with the freed up Blake, because Blake Griffin's game, in my opinion, was a little taken back by Chris Paul. He was held back a little bit because he can do more than what he was necessarily showing all this time. So I believe he was kind of taken back at least a little bit, but they still have him, and they have DeAndre Jordan. So those are their building blocks for the future, so to speak. With that being said, since they do have those big building blocks in the middle, it's just about the pieces they add around them. Because we're gonna see a better Blake Griffin. A couple seasons ago, we saw him average like 26 and 12 in the playoffs, which was a very outstanding performance for Blake Griffin. And I believe he has the ability to do more of that type of stuff too. He'll be able to create his own shots, his own opportunities a little bit more. It's not Chris Paul spoon feeding them everything. So I do think we'll see a better Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan will be about the same. He was basically an offensive rebound guy, a protect the rim type guy. That was more so his role. So I expect to see kind of more of the same from him. All right. The Clippers did have an off-season addition in Bellinelli. We haven't heard from Bellinelli in quite a few years, right? Because he was with Denver. He was part of that Carmelo Anthony trade, which landed him in Denver. And then while he was in Denver, he had a good season or whatever where he played very good. Then he had some injuries, and then he kind of faded from relevancy a little bit. Well, this is his chance to kind of get back with the Clippers or whatever, to try to just get back as far as being a relevant basketball player in the NBA. I do think he provides a lot. He provides some outside shooting, and then he also has the ability to create off the dribble too. So he will be a very good three-man for them. The irony in that is that he actually would have been a wonderful addition with the team they had with JJ Redick and Chris Paul and Blake and DeAndre, because they were always missing that three for all those years. So the fact that he's there now is just a little bit odd, but he will provide them with a lot of help. So those are the positives with this team. The problem is the guard play. Unless they make another move, I really don't see that guard play being able to play well enough for them to hold their position in the Western Conference. So right now you're dealing with Patrick Beverley. You have also, like, Lou Williams was another piece that they were able to get from the Rockets, who is, a good off the bench, get buckets type guy, but, what are you going to use him as, a point guard? Patrick Beverley isn't necessarily a great point guard. He's a great defensive point guard. He's a good spot-up shooter, good energy guy, good glue guy. But when it comes to, like, initiating your offense, I don't know if you want Patrick Beverley or Lou Williams with that role. Doc Rivers has a son, Austin Rivers, who a lot of people think is a cause of a lot of the issues that they've been having. So you have Austin Rivers. I still think he's a serviceable NBA player. I always thought more so combo guard off the bench, but if they're going to be trying to start him, we'll see what he can do. Then they have all the cast-offs from the Rockets and the people that the Rockets acquired in trade just to trade them to the Clippers. DeAndre Liggins, which he's probably not going to make the roster. You know, they have people like Wesley Johnson on the team, Bryce Johnson. You got Harrell, who was key for the Rockets in stretches while Capella was injured. He's like an energy big or whatever. And then you got Sam Decker, another three who can shoot and space the floor, who has some game. Allen Anderson is another like type of three-pointer glue guy type player. So you have some players, but most of them are wings. You need some point guard play. You need more shooting on this team. Let's talk about Doc Rivers for a second. Doc Rivers is having a week. So I don't know. It depends on how you spin it. He's no longer the president of basketball operations for the Clippers. He was for a minute. Because remember, a couple years ago, it was the new thing in the NBA to kind of make the coach the president of basketball operations, just to kind of cut out the middleman, because ultimately it looks like it's usually the coach who ends up making the personnel decisions and whatnot. Now we start to see that fade kind of taper off a little bit, because we've seen coaches, these people, the coaches or whatever, making some bad decisions or whatever. So, and since we've seen that, we're starting to kind of see, that kind of stop, that trend of making coaches the president. Now we see Doc Rivers being slided out of that president role and only focusing on coaching, which I think is probably a good idea. I don't think he made the best personnel decisions for that team. A lot of people complained, even players on that team and players who weren't even on that team were complaining about his son receiving preferential treatment or whatever, getting big contracts just because he was his son and whatnot, and things of that nature. So with that being the case, I do think him sliding from that front office role to only focusing on coaching will be good for him, and we'll see how much success he can have. I do think the Clippers' key going forward is to get some better guards. They need, I think, both guard positions they need to upgrade at. They need a point guard. They don't necessarily need a point guard who will hold the ball as much as Chris Paul, because we all know Chris Paul held the ball a lot or whatever. But I think they can get. I thought Brandon Jennings was somebody they could think about bringing in. He actually didn't get an offer from any team. And now he's going, I think, to China or something like that to play next season, which I never understood Brandon Jennings fully in the NBA, because I always thought he was one of those combo type guards or whatever, but I thought he kind of slided towards being a playmaker and a point guard more so than not. But I don't think he really gets the respect like that. Like, it's always a question as of, are they going to even offer him a contract? And I think that's crazy. I think Brandon Jennings is definitely a player worthy of getting a good contract and being a piece on a team that could win. I thought the Clippers were a team that really could benefit from his services, but they didn't even really give him a look. So I think that's kind of odd. But even if it's not him, I thought they should have gave Derrick Rose a better look as well, because they literally did not have a point guard at all. Not one that I think you can trust full time or whatever. So I thought they should have gave Derrick Rose a look. They didn't really give him a look either. It's not too many people out there that they can really try to get now. So it's really trades that we're looking at for the Clippers to try to upgrade in that guard position, both of them. So it's going to be a fight uphill for the Clippers, to be very honest. They regress. They're not as good as they were. And with Chris Paul, without Chris Paul, they can do things differently. They could possibly be better, but they still need better guard play. They need a new point guard, a real point guard, and they need another shooting guard, possibly a 3-and-D guy to go next to Bellinelli, because Bellinelli is another shooter. He probably isn't the best defender. You need another strong defender to kind of make it work, right, in that starting lineup. All right, so that's the Clippers. That's the Outlook video. If you like these Outlook videos, there's more in the playlist, 2017-2018 NBA Outlook. Check them out. If you're new to the page, subscribe. If you like this video, go ahead and like it, and see you next time. All right. Shout out to Sincere Washington. How's it going? What's up, man?